All right guys, what's going on? We have a PC build for you today, and it's a PC that you guys can win. So Chris Brown reached out to us not too long ago, and he was like, yo, we need some laptops. I need gaming laptops. The PCs that I got from you over 2 years ago have been nothing but fantastic, but I need some gaming laptops for the tour. So what can we do? So I reached out to my guy Nacho Customs, who actually hooked us up the first time with Chris Brown with MSI Gaming. So MSI is an amazing computer company, and they actually sent us almost all of these parts for this PC build. So this video is definitely sponsored by MSI, not just for the parts that they gave us for this PC that you guys can win, but also for hooking up Chris Brown with two 4090 gaming laptops for his tour. So that was very generous of them, and we want y'all to know that MSI is an amazing PC company. So we're gonna definitely talk about the parts they sent us while we build this PC. So we hope you enjoy this full PC build of a $3,000 gaming PC. Now you can win this gaming PC, but you have to buy a raffle. We were thinking about going the giveaway route, but they really wanna try a raffle, and we've never done a raffle before. So I'm very interested on giving this a shot. The best way to enter is to head to our website. We have a landing page on our homepage for you to enter the raffle. But you can also go to brparadox.com/product/PC raffle. Now the raffle for this PC is gonna be $10. So you can buy as many raffles as you want, which will give you more entries. So Chris Brown's gonna be posting this on his Instagram, so best believe there's gonna be a lot of entries in this. So we want y'all the best chance to win this. So it's gonna run for about 3 weeks, the raffle. We're gonna make videos on it, this YouTube video. If you're watching this video right now, which means the raffle's already up, so don't forget to buy a raffle. And also it's available internationally too. So if you do buy a $10 raffle, you have a chance to win the PC, but keep in mind, if you're international, you do have to pay the difference in shipping. So if you win and you're in the United States, you get the PC for completely free, other than the $10 you put in. And then if you're international, we'll give you some credit for the shipping, like the domestic US shipping, but you gotta pay the difference to get it to you in your foreign country. So this is a great opportunity to win this PC, so let's get right into building it. But before we do that, actually, let's talk about the specs. So what is in this PC? So this PC has the Intel i5 14600K. This processor has 6 performance cores and 8 efficiency cores. So that's gonna help you if you do need more cores, so you're not stuck with like a traditional 6-core or 8-core processor. Then we have the MSI SPATIUM M482 SSD. So this is a 2 terabyte SSD that's gonna run at 7,300 megabytes a second. So this is equivalent to our Crucial T500 SSD. This is a beast. So huge thank you to MSI for sending us this SSD. Then we have 32 gigs of DDR5 RGB RAM from G.Skill. This is 32 gigs of RAM at 6,000 megahertz, which is going to be plenty for this build. It's a lot of performance, and it's way better than DDR4. So love that. Let's get the RAM out of there. Let's move on to the rest of the stuff. MSI, they gave us an RTX 4070 Ti for this build. This is like a $800 graphics card, so this is going to be amazing for all your gaming needs. Next up, we have the MSI Z790 Project Zero motherboard. This is a back connector motherboard, so you're not gonna be able to see any of the cables in this PC. It's going to be so sick. I'm excited to use this. I've never used this motherboard before, so I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinions on it. And then we have the MSI CoreLiquid 360 liquid cooler from MSI. They also sent this. This is a great liquid cooler. I believe I've used this a couple times. It's not in our current lineup, but I have nothing but good things to say about it. It's definitely gonna be able to cool our processor with ease. We have the MSI 1000 watt PCIe 5 power supply. This has the cable that we need for our 4070 Ti. So it's only gonna be one cable that you plug in, and it's gonna plug in so easily. So all of this is gonna be a very fun and easy PC build. So I'm excited for you guys to watch the process. All right, so for the case, MSI sent us the MAG PANO 100R PZ. Now I don't know what any of that means. I don't think I've ever used an MSI case before, But as long as it supports the back connectors in the Project Zero motherboard, that's all I care about. So if that supports it, then I love this case. This case is gonna look so clean with that motherboard. So stay tuned for that. Also, the graphics card's not back connectors though, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but we'll have to figure it out together. Let's go and open up the case so I can give my first impressions. Now it's standing on its feet. The top panel never touched the floor, which is the goal. And then I put all the styrofoam panels back into the case box. Got that in there. Now let's put this up and let's give it a good look. So this case has two USB 3.0, one USB-C, a nice combined headphone jack, as well as an LED button and a power switch. This has similar curved texture to the glass like the Height Y60 has or Y70, which is pretty nice. I see some good ventilation on the top. This kind of looks like an 011 competitor in a way, but I actually like it. Also, as you can see, we have a nice ventilated rear panel. So this looks very different from what we normally use, like Lee & Lee or NZXT. Let's take this back panel off really quick. Oh, they say even the back panel. Back panel comes right off. So we have a large brown box. I don't know how any of this works, but we got the brown box out and it looks like a lot of cables, unfortunately. Not a big fan of that, but it looks like it's 4 fans that are all connected. Looks like a screw holding in place. So this is to hide all the cables, I believe. So we're gonna have to put this all back in after. There you go. A lot of room, but a lot of cables already. So we're gonna have to figure this out, but I'm confident I shouldn't have too many problems. Also looks like there's a vertical mount built in. So as you can see, there's a vertical mount built in. We're gonna have to remove that though, because we don't have a riser cable. So let us know what you guys think of the case, and I'm excited to build into it. So first thing I do when I work with cases is I do remove almost all the panels. I like to get rid of as many panels as possible. So I saw like a screw right here. I saw 2 screws right here. Just like that. So I like to put this and this back into the case box just so it's out of the way. So just like that, we're being very resourceful. I do want to make sure I'm doing a good job. I want to be very professional about this and let you know the raffle is 100% legit. Like, you know, MSI is involved, Chris Brown's team's involved, Paradox Customs is involved, Nacho Customs is involved. So we're all taking this very seriously. So we want to give you guys a great product that is worth buying the raffle for. The specs itself are worth it, considering $10 could win you a $3,000 PC, but you know, there's more to it. So let's bring it over. We'll bring it over actually in a bit. Let's start working on the motherboard and we'll go from there. So we're back at the table. Like I said, let's get the stuff that we don't need at the moment out of the way. So I get the graphics card and I get the power supply far from the vicinity. We need as much space to work with the motherboard, the cooler, the SSD, and the processor. Time to get started. So I'm not the fastest builder, but I work very carefully. So that's also important. You know, I like doing things perfectly, especially when it's a first time working on it. I tread very carefully. So we got this board. Oh my God, look at the packaging on this. This is very different from what I'm used to. So huge shout out to MSI for doing a great job with the packaging on this Project Zero motherboard. If you guys have a back connector computer, I definitely suggest getting a Project Zero back connector style motherboard so you just don't see any cables. It kind of eliminates the ability to like have bad cable management. And that's kind of what separates us from the competition, is our cable management. So I don't really see it as a threat though, because I don't see other companies adopting it as much as we are. So this is the back of the motherboard. Well, this is the front. Let's see the front first. This is the front of the motherboard. As you can see, there are no ports on the front. They're all covered by this like shroud, the silver shroud. So they did a great job of hiding it all. But what's really fun to look at is the back. So as you can see, we have all the ports for the PC on the back. We have our USB 3.0, we have our USB-C, we have another USB 3.0, we have our motherboard 24 pin. This seems like different than the BTF from Asus, but it's still really cool. Dual CPU 8 pin, and then a bunch of other stuff. So you leave it in this box because it has the cutouts. Hopefully I'm not missing, because that would be, yeah. You leave it in here for now. Leave it in the box because it's got the cutouts. Otherwise you're screwed. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install my processor. So processor goes right here in the slot. You undo the latch, flip open the tab. I always like being very organized. So I'm gonna throw out the CPU box now that I'm done with it, and we're gonna install our CPU. So our CPU is going to have to match up with the pins. So you always wanna make sure the CPU is readable to yourself. So there's also a gold triangle, and that gold triangle can be found at the bottom left of your CPU socket. So there's a gold triangle on your processor, and there's a triangle at the bottom left of the black tab. So you undo the black tab, install your processor, push the tab down, push down so the tab kind of like breaks the black piece, and then you install it, just like that. Very simple, no problems at all. And yeah, throw that piece out. Sometimes you want to keep that piece, but not today. Don't really care for this either. So now we got our CPU, and we also got our SSD. So the next step is the SSD. So let's get this open. Again, this looks like an amazing SSD. I've never used this before, but again, huge thanks to MSI for providing this SSD. 7,000 read and write. So if you guys are using this computer for any kind of data transfer, like camera footage and stuff, you're gonna love this SSD. So when you install your SSD, you wanna make sure that you basically find the port first, right? Once you find the port, so this is definitely toolless too, which is great. So we're gonna find the port, which is right here. You're gonna click it in. Once it's clicked in, you're basically gonna push this latch over the SSD as such. So we got it pushed over the SSD, and now it's locked in. Then you wanna peel the adhesive off the cover, which I already did. And then you wanna go ahead and install it. So put the screws back over the motherboard, and there you go. All right, so we got the SSD, we got the processor in. Next step is the liquid cooler. So we have the liquid cooler right here. Let's go ahead and unbox it. So this is, again, the MSI Mag CoreLiquid i360. Now this looks like a newer cooler, so I don't think I've actually used this one. So that design looks brand new. I've never seen that design before, so let's give it the benefit of the doubt. So let's go ahead and open this up. Looks like we got, ooh, this is like a nice little packaging for all the screws and brackets. Love that. And then you have the actual cooler. Just like that. So we got it installed, so it's a clean look. Now let's open up all this. So we're gonna carefully take the board out of the box as such. We're gonna hold it like a pizza, so we're not touching any of the pins on the outer edge. Then we're going to slowly but surely install the backplate. So we got that in, and now I'm gonna install the standoffs. So you're just gonna screw the standoffs right into the backplate. They're reversible, it appears, so it doesn't matter which way, just get them installed. So we got them hand tightened. Now we can actually put it back into the safe area where we're not touching any of the beneath pins. All right, so we got our 4 standoffs installed. So the good news here is there's no pre-applied thermal paste. So all I gotta do is just peel this off, and I'm ready to install. Now we're gonna use our own thermal paste. Even though the liquid cooler came with some, we're gonna use our own. It says from Arctic. This is the MX4. So MX4, great thermal paste to use for all of our builds. So this is gonna cool your CPU very, very well. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply a decent bit. I'm gonna use a spatula to spread it all around the processor. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and just begin. I'm gonna get a nice blob. Talking like, right, that's good. That might not be enough, but depending on how good you spread it, that will decide whether you put enough. So let's begin. Just gonna basically spread as much as I can to different areas of the processor, just like I'm doing right now. Basically, you just gotta cover the whole CPU with thermal paste. So you want like, you know, you don't want to be able to see any of the silver from the CPU. Based on how I'm doing it right now though, I'm like not doing the best job because I'm gonna need some more. But I think objectively, that just wasn't enough thermal paste that I put on. But I'm gonna still try and spread as much as I can with what I got, and then I'll apply more shortly after. There are some really, really good thermal paste options that we charge more for, like Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut Extreme. But since this is just an i5 14600K, I think this is plenty. The MX4 is plenty. It's a really budget-friendly option. Super easy to spread, unlike other thermal pastes. And boom, just like that, that's how you spread it. So we're gonna throw the spatula out and we're gonna go ahead and install the cooler. So again, they want the tubes at the bottom. So I'm gonna put the radiator flat like that, and I'm gonna just drop the cooler through the holes. Oh, what are these holes? Well, don't worry about that. We're just gonna go and go until it's on. It's that easy. So then you take your 4 thumb screws. You just wanna apply it, start from each corner. So once you do one corner, go to the opposite corner. You can use your screwdriver to tighten these, but they say that they recommend using your hands. So if you can grab a grip onto the screws and you can successfully screw it on using your hands, I would recommend that. You see, I didn't touch a screwdriver at all for that part. So now I'm ready for the case. So if you guys are ready to see the case installation, let's do it. Alrighty. So first thing you want to do is you want to get this glass off, just like that. I should be able to build this whole PC without needing either of these glass panels. Oh, wow. All right, now we got a lot of space to work in, which is great. So then we also have the USB-C, we have the USB Type A, and we have HD audio. And the rest is a bunch of random stuff that is related to either the fans or the RGB. So best thing to do is just get the motherboard in there and then figure it out. Now don't forget this is back connector, so you kind of need room here. This is like, oh man, this is gonna be tough. This is a great case. This is a very good looking case. So we got that in, now it's time to install our motherboard. So what I like to do is I like to install the motherboard with the case hanging off my desk a little bit. So I like it when it's hanging off my desk, so I have room for like these kind of cables to kind of fall off the desk and let gravity help you install the motherboard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold the cooler, I'm gonna hold the motherboard from the cooler since it's BTF, and I'm gonna just install it just like this. You just gotta be careful, there's a lot of pins that could break here. Boom. You look for a nice clack. There's 9 standoffs, you need to align it with your motherboard to make sure it kind of falls in and snaps in like it did. And then we gotta find the motherboard screws. So once you got the motherboard in, you're gonna find your screws, all right? These are the motherboard screws. It has a little ring around them. It's not always gonna be these, so it's sometimes best to use the motherboard manual to identify the correct motherboard screw. So then you wanna screw it in 9 times. Sometimes it's only 8 because the middle standoff isn't actually a screw hole, but in this build it is. So that's something to be aware of. All right, so we got the motherboard screwed in. Now it's time to get the liquid cooler screwed in. So again, I did see some plastic on here, so let's peel that off just to be safe. So let's go ahead and install this radiator. Actually, we can just go and pick up the case now. So we got the case picked up and we're going to install the radiator. Now, we're always gonna put the radiator on top. In a build like this, you always wanna put your radiator on top unless otherwise specified. It just makes sense for us to install it up here. So let's go ahead and do that. So the liquid cooler came with 12 screws for us to install it up here. They didn't include washers, so good thing is we don't need washers at all. I would just wanna make sure it's centered. You always wanna make sure the radiator is centered. So I'm gonna just install 2 screws for now, just to see if it's actually centered. All right, so I decided to move the radiator to the left side, meaning the tubes are coming out the left instead of the right. I was not really liking the way the tubes are mounting on the right. So don't judge me, but this is for the better. You gotta make sure the radiator is kind of like in the middle of the mounting holes, otherwise it's not gonna sit properly and you're gonna like just have a tough time getting every screw in. Well, the first 2 screws are mounting the radiator in a perfect middle angle so that the rest of the screws can fall in easily. But I'd say that I did a decent job here. I could have done slightly better, but it's pretty solid. This PC is up for grabs. We're running a raffle. It's a $10 raffle with as many entries as you want. You could buy as many raffles, and each raffle will be an entry to win this computer, where we will ship this to you free of charge if you're in the United States. Otherwise, you just gotta pay the difference in shipping. But this is a $3,000 PC with only a $10 raffle. Now, Chris Brown is, going to be posting this raffle. So we expect a lot of international entries. So we hope one of you guys win this PC. There's no free option to enter this sweepstakes, so it's just paid. So if you got $10, you wanna play your luck, go for it. So the cooler has a fan cable and an RGB cable, and so does the actual pump. So for the pump, we're gonna wanna make this look clean. So we're gonna route it just like that, and then it's time to cable manage. So the first thing I'm gonna go for is probably, this is the part that plugs into your motherboard, the ARGB and the fan cable, and this part is gonna plug into the controller. So I see 3 of these right here and they all have daisy chains. So we can definitely plug the cooler into one of these and then plug in the fans from the cooler into one of these. But yeah, that's pretty much how we gotta do it. Because we have 4 fans actually. Each of these is a fan that have no daisy chains. So none of the fans have daisy chains. So where are we gonna plug the cooler into? Probably gonna plug the cooler into CPU opt, and then we'll plug the pump into CPU fan, and then we'll plug the RGB connectors into the RGB splitters that each cable has. Oh wow, there's even a splitter on the actual, no, all right, no splitter on this. So we'll plug this actually into we'll plug the fans into the pump. That'll be the start. So we got the fans into the pump. Then we just need one to plug in to this. Oh, there actually isn't. Oh, no, that was actually for the glass that we removed. So it's gonna be for this guy. This guy that's coming from the hub is gonna allow us to plug our CPU pump as well as the liquid cooler's fans into the ARGB. So we got that plugged in, and then we just gotta plug in the fan into CPU opt, which since it's back connectors, looks like we don't have a CPU opt. So we're gonna plug it into system fan 1. Actually, no, we could plug the pump into pump fan. And then we'll plug this into CPU fan. So this is the pump, we can plug into pump fan 1, just right here. And then we're gonna plug the radiator's fans into CPU fan 1, just like that. Let's undo these too, since this is for the master controller. This stuff has to plug into our motherboard and power supply. So this can plug into system fan. Where the fuck did this come from? Ooh, it's hiding. Okay, it's actually coming on the left side. So this is gonna plug into system fan 1. Because this is for the 4 fans that are all around the case. The 1 in the rear and the 3 on the spine. So this is not related to the CPU fans cooling. Boom. And then we gotta find a port on the motherboard for this one, which is come from the controller. And this is gonna plug into the motherboard so that everything in this build will be controlled from this one cable, which goes right here. Usually unplugging everything, remembering where everything goes, and then just redoing it. And then letting kind of like, you know, the bend structure of the cables kind of guide you. You can see how it's like kind of like bending towards a certain direction. So that's kind of the best way I do it. But there's a lot of different ways. Some people are just naturally better than others at kind of like forcing the bend, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think we should just wait till the power supply is in. So this we can get out of the way. Let's get the power supply. So we went, MSI gave us the 1000 watt gold with the PCIe 5.0 12 volt high power cable. I've used this power supply countless times. Nothing but good things to say, honestly. Okay, this looks like a newer version of what I've used before. So in this build, we're definitely gonna need some SATA. So I got a SATA cable. Definitely gonna need this 12 volt high power cable, which has the yellow tips, so you know when it's all the way in. And then we're gonna need 2 CPU cables for sure. Here's 1, here's 2. And here's 3. The rest of the cables we're not gonna need, so those will go back in the pouch. Here's our 24 pin motherboard cable. This is for the 24 pin on the motherboard. It's as easy as it sounds. There's only 1 of these on the board. You're gonna plug 2 of the connectors in, and then we're gonna plug in SATA. Actually, let's plug in the CPU first. All right, so we got all of our cables plugged in. Now it's time to plug in the graphics cards. The graphics card's going to install in the back. No, the power supply, sorry. We're installing the power supply as such. We gotta make sure we're not crushing any cables since this is BTF. Looks like we were able to successfully do it without that. You wanna take your screws that came with the power supply. Got the power supply in. Now let's see what we can do to finish these cables off. I think all we're gonna be able to do is just stick them in the back Maybe throw like one zip tie. I just hate how this is being ran. Okay, yeah, these little short cables need to get out of here. They have no business being over here. So we'll get these short cables out of there. All right, so I finished the cable management. All I gotta do now is just install the graphics card. So as you can see here, I'm a little curious if all these panels that we removed can still fit perfectly. I'm pretty confident it will. But let me know what you guys think. I did the best that I could. It's my first time working with this case and these fans and this cooler and this board, but I'm very happy with how it all turned out. I think it's going to look really clean once we finish it. So let's get the graphics card installed. So again, this is the MSI Gaming X Slim 4070 Ti. We have, what is this? How much VRAM? 12 gigs? 12 gigs of VRAM. So it does perform similar to a 3090, but keep in mind 3090 has 24 gigs of VRAM. So that's like the biggest difference. But if you're just looking for raw gaming horsepower, then this graphics card is very good for you. So it's gonna fit just fine in this case. So I'm not worried about that. So we got the graphics card right here. Ooh, feels nice. Comes in a nice anti-static bag. Take it out of the bag. Let's just put the box away really quickly. Oh no. Benefit between having a 2-fan and a 3-fan graphics card is just the cooling and the aesthetics. So, you know, a lot of cases I don't feel comfortable using a 2-fan graphics card in. It looks really small and doesn't fill out the space. So it's mostly aesthetics for me, but there's definitely a temperature difference as well. But it all just depends on the card, you know? Like, I wouldn't always assume a 3-fan card is gonna run better than a 2-fan card, because like a 3-fan 4070 Ti Super is probably gonna run hotter than a 2-fan 4070 Super, you know? So if you're talking model, same model, then obviously getting a 3-fan GPU would be advised. So here's the card. We got 2 screws we gotta remove over here. Now I'm a little concerned about the cooler, but I'm not that concerned. So we're gonna take out that screw, and we're gonna take out this screw, and voila. So we got our graphics card ready to install. You always wanna make sure your prongs are going in inside the case, which it is. So just push just like that. Went in just fine. Now let's screw in the graphics card, just like that. And then we screw in the last screw. Definitely want to screw it tight so it doesn't sag at all. Now I know we were talking about a sag bracket. I don't think we're gonna end up installing it, but again, it really doesn't need it. It's super slim, super straight from what I could tell. So let's go ahead and install the cable. We're gonna feed it through one of these grommets, probably this one, right? Now, nope, it's not the right way. We want it to come in at an angle that's going to be coming in the proper way. So it's gonna look something like this. Don't want to be able to see any yellow. If you see any yellow, it's not in all the way and it's gonna go on fire. I guess the next step would be to turn it on. So there is one more LED. Like when you put the front panel on, it does light up, but I do want to turn this on without that so we can see the full 360 view. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Hopefully I did everything right. Think I did. 3, 2, 1. How we looking? So the next steps would be to install Windows. Windows 11 we're gonna go with, Windows 11 Pro. It's gonna run very cool even without the bottom fan. We thankfully have a 360mm radiator. That cooler looks great.
You know what's cool? It's synced up.
Yeah, everything's synced
default.
up. Yeah.
Full touch.
And we can just cycle through them right here. If you hold it, you should be able to go to motherboard control. So now we're on motherboard control, which is RGB. I also noticed we didn't plug in any RAM, so we should probably do that. So let's plug in some RAM, something we totally forgot to install, but no regrets there. No regrets there at all. RAM sticks, not going in hard enough. You know, like the serial number is always gonna be facing the CPU. So the serial number on the RAM sticks face the cooler. That's the best way to tell if you're doing the right way. So let's do it again. 3, 2, 1. So I do love the BTF aesthetic. I do like this plate too they did here. Great job there, very unique. I'm glad we put the tubes this way. This way was looking really weird. So yeah, this PC is done. We're gonna install Windows 11 Pro on it. I'll talk about some of the things that we install after we get it up and running. And then we'll be able to list this PC up in the site for the raffle. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you noticed any mistakes or anything I should fix with this PC before we ship it out to the winner. It does look really good. It is hard to tell, like Ethan said, about when the back panel's on. And those other back panels aren't even on yet. So So this cable goes inside here. And then let me know if anything lights up here. Oh.
Your overall impressions on building in this case?
I liked it. Honestly, I liked it. The material is great. The cable management made sense. A lot of tie down points, which is very necessary. I would give it a B+.
Out of what, like S the best or?
Yeah, S+, fucking dollar signs, Batman symbols. It's pretty far down the best, but you know, no, I'm just kidding.
It's a crazy ranking system.
Yeah. Just know that B+ is below average.
Okay.
Nah, it's a good case. Good cooler, good motherboard. I don't have many complaints. Just cable management, this last piece. Yes, sir. Just got like one more cable tie. All right. Maybe just one more. It doesn't end. So I use like the fan cables for the spine here. I use like the USBs down the middle. Then I use there's like 3 different layers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's just layering it. Fans first, front panel cable second, power supply third. So see if this is gonna give us any problems. Hope not. I don't even remember how this went. Finished, done. So we will catch back up with you in just a bit, probably a couple hours, and we'll have Windows installed in this PC, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so I got the PC. We're like a couple days later. I didn't get to do it that same night, but I got Windows installed. I got the CPU overclocked in the BIOS. BIOS is updated. We actually have a checklist of like 40 different items that we do, different tasks that we do to the PC. So this PC is completely plug and play. Now let's find out how much FPS we can get on Call of Duty. So then we got to install a GPU overclock. I want to overclock this GPU to get the most frames possible. All right, we got the GPU overclocked. Hopefully this is stable. Now it's time. Maybe check a couple more settings. Windows, let's turn off notifications. Let's disable the game bar. Let's make sure our power options are solid. Ultimate performance, and that should be all. We're getting like 240 to 250 FPS on Nuketown, which is actually a demanding map, like performance-wise. So I'm really impressed with this performance. Take a look for yourself. I love this performance. This PC feels so smooth. And, you know, like I said, if we got a different map, like a more open map, we'd probably be touching 300. So for a PC with these specs, getting this kind of performance, you're really not gonna need anything else. And you're not gonna need to ever upgrade this PC either for a long time. You know, you got DDR5, you have a 14 core processor, 4070 Ti. So yeah, I play controller, but you know, kind of hard to focus when I'm trying to make a video too, you know? This is the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, this PC could be yours and you only have 3 weeks for your chance to enter. You gotta go to our website, brparax.com, and buy the $10 raffle for this PC. You know, one raffle means one entry, so best of luck. But yeah, we'll be drawing the winner. Maybe we'll do it live, so stay tuned for details on when we're drawing the winner. And you know, this is a very legit giveaway. We are going to provide all the analytics, and we're, like I said, we're gonna be drawing this live. And again, huge thank you to MSI, huge thank you to Nacho Customs, and huge thank you to Chris Brown for this opportunity. I'll see you guys later.